KD and Harden. Kyrie Irving set to return tonight. How will that work, and what can we expect? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. Jenna Wolf alongside Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall, Kevin Wilds, the president of Nets Nation, Brandon Marshall. What say you getting ready for tonight?
Patience, Jenna. Patience. It's going to happen.
Got Sage back.
Just got Sage.
How much Sage do you own?
Well, we'll have patience for that story because we got to start in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Snow in the forecast for Sunday. Advantage Packers? Nope. Tom Brady knows how to play in snow. Bucs blew out the Packers back in Week 6. Advantage Bucs then? Nope. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur said this: his team has come a long way from that day. But, Brandon, what are the chances of another Bucs blowout come this weekend?
Jenna, I see no blowout in this game. If anyone's going to get blown out, it's going to be the Tampa Bay Bucs. Remember, I have the Bucs and the Bills in the Super Bowl. But when you look at how that game played out in Week 6, Aaron Rodgers had so many opportunities. It was almost like the perfect storm for Todd Bowles and that defense. You got to understand, this is a really good defense. Very, 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 very good defense. But on the other side, if you go through some of their games, you go through Todd Bowles' history, there's sometimes like, how does he have some of the top 5 defenses? And then they have games where guys are putting up 400 yards or going for 400 yards, 500 yards, throwing for 4 or 5 touchdowns, because it's all about communication. It's all about adjustments and checks on the back end. So if that blitz doesn't get there, you're going to see guys wide open. Go to the first drive. Look how fast Aaron Rodgers and that offense drove down the field in Week 6. He was dinking and dunking. He got the ball out quick. Guys were wide open. Then they start making the right adjustments and checks. So if anyone's going to get blown out in this game, I would have to go on the side of the Green Bay Packers, Nick, blowing out the Bucs. But it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think either team's going to get blown out. And I also think you can almost throw out their first meeting because it was such an odd game. The Packers looked like they were going to roll over the Bucs. And then Aaron Rodgers did the discount double pump in the end zone for a touchdown that didn't even count. And from that moment forward, it was a disaster. From that moment forward, the Packers had 53 yards of offense. Rodgers threw a pick 6. He threw another pick that was almost a pick 6, and the Bucs were rolling. It was the worst game of Rodgers' entire career. And as a side note, in a more just world, it would have been a game that absolutely banned him from winning MVP, and the rightful MVP this year would be Patrick Mahomes, but we don't have to get into that. And so for all those reasons, Wilds, like, I do think the Packers are going to win, but I also think that this is... you are not going to duplicate what happened in their first meeting because Rodgers doesn't throw pick 6s and he doesn't throw multiple picks in a game, so he's not going to do that again.
Yeah, that game was a flaw in the matrix, and it's not going to happen again. If we look at the stats, he threw 2 interceptions. He only had 5 all year. They really hit him, too. They hit him 11 times. He never gets hit, so I don't think that's going to happen again. So, Brandon, what do you think about this? Perhaps the Bucs defense was so dominant, Tom Brady is at a disadvantage because Aaron Rodgers took all the punches. He got knocked out, but now he's back for round 2. Tom Brady never really did his Tom Brady thing. He threw for only 6 more yards than Aaron Rodgers that game. So I feel like he never got a chance to really cook. He just handed the ball off, threw 2 touchdowns, but they were like miniature touchdowns since they had such good field position. I think Tom Brady is going to be the one coming into a brand new, fresh look. So he's actually at the disadvantage.
Look, I was arguing with Nick all year about this. We didn't bring Tom Brady in to throw it for 350 yards and 3-4 touchdowns. What we're getting, this is extra. Like what we've seen over the last 4 or 5 games, that's extra. No, the way they won last week is how I expect them to win this week. On the ground, 35-plus attempts on the ground. That's what you need to see. He needs to keep that guy, Aaron Rodgers, who's probably going to be the MVP, on the sideline. Tom Brady dropping back and throwing it 40, 45 times is not the answer, Nick.
Well, and also this game is a referendum is too strong of a word, but this game has much more meaning for Rodgers and legacy and career than it does for Brady. It is worth noting that Aaron Rodgers has lost 3 consecutive NFC championship games, and they've all been in somewhat grotesque fashion. The first one he lost, his team had a double-digit lead late against the Seattle Seahawks, and then there was the onside kick, the deep bomb in overtime. Packers are going home after it looks like they're rolling. The next one they lost was to the Falcons team with MVP Matt Ryan, and I don't have that in front of me, but I think at one point the score of that game was 31-3. They were just blown out almost immediately. And the next one they lost was last year, where the Niners did exactly what the Niners had done earlier in the season to them a second time.
Run the ball.
And by the way, that would be the concern for Green Bay. It's like, well, last year we were in this round. Last year we were in this round against a team that had kicked our butts in the regular season, and then they did it again in the postseason.
Nick.
But where I think Green Bay feels better, Wilds, is I think they're like, well, we lost this game because we had Blaine Gabbert at quarterback, not Aaron Rodgers, and we're getting Aaron Rodgers back.
Yep.
Sorry, Blaine, he's taking strays, but such is life.
Yeah, why Blaine Gabbert sitting at home having, some Wheaties. He's like, what the heck? I'm Blaine Gabbert. Hey, so we know Tom Brady's the GOAT, and you did your whole legacy thing. And like, he doesn't have that much more to gain. Like, 6 championships, 7 championships. I just get a little more space in my storage box. Do you think that Aaron Rodgers, if they lose this game, do you think his legacy can go backwards a little bit?
If he plays poorly and they lose, it certainly doesn't help it. And I do think that one of the things we've said, Brandon, is the Packers have done a bad job supporting Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Well, this year, when he's going to be the MVP, when this game is in Lambeau for the first time of his career. That's noteworthy, by the way. This is the first time Aaron Rodgers has played in Lambeau with a chance to go to the Super Bowl. They are the favorites. They're playing a 43-year-old quarterback. He needs to win this game. He needs to get to another Super Bowl. No one's going to hold it against him when Mahomes beats him in the Super Bowl. But people will hold it against him, I think, a bit if he loses a home NFC championship game to 43-year-old Brady.
Yeah, look, no secret that I have the Bucs winning this game. But let's say Aaron Rodgers goes on and he wins the Super Bowl, Wilds. I see this whole Packers and Rodgers relationship as an underachievement. I said it this year. Like, how do you have Aaron Rodgers, who at one time we were saying is the greatest quarterback potentially ever, and you win 1 Super Bowl with him? I see this as an underachievement, period.
All right, a lot more to discuss here. Bucs and Packers Sunday, the early game, that one on Fox. We got to take a turn, talk some Kyrie. He's getting set to make his return tonight to the Nets. What will that look like next to KD and Harden, who have already started to build some chemistry? It's next. First things first.
anyone's going to get blown out, it's going to be the Tampa Bay Bucks. Remember, I have the Bucks and the Bills in the Super Bowl. But when you look at how that game played out in Week 6, Aaron Rodgers had so many opportunities. It was almost like the perfect storm for Todd Bowles and that defense. You got to understand, this is a really good defense. Very, 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 very good defense. But on the other side, if you go through some of their games, you go through Todd Bowles' history, there's sometimes like, how does he have some of the top 5 defenses? And then they have games where guys are putting up